Welcome to The Prize Inside. A chiropractor's journey in everyday holistic health and vitality. Here, your host, Dr. Jeremy Myers, delves into the remarkable journeys of everyday people who have embraced the path to health and healing. Through his practice, Dr. Jeremy encounters inspiring stories of profound transformation and the power of true healing within each of us. Stay tuned as we discuss various holistic topics and unlock the healing potential that lies within us all.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Sorry it's a little early. I got to get to a basketball game tonight, so I wanted to make sure that I got this in at the same time. So welcome to the Whole Health Weekly. I know I'm not going to have a ton out there, but if you're out there, most of you are working and doing all those kind of things. So tonight will be recorded, so hopefully you'll get back to it. Hopefully it's a good one. So this week, always Whole Health Weekly on Wednesdays is all about, understanding the week's topics that are out there. And so I have a few good ones this week. So hopefully we will get there. Also, this is episode 10. So this is chiropractic principle 10. So what we're going to do is we go through all the different chiropractic principles. These are a guy named R.W. Stevenson, back in 100 years ago, and he kind of mapped out what the idea of what the physical body, what the intelligence, the innate intelligence of our body is all about. And so they use these principles to kind of understand how that works in our world. And then when you understand that, it helps a lot when you're looking at the idea of how to live holistically and how to live with that intelligence and understand that our body is this inherent intelligent being, right? And so when we go through those, we're on principle 10. They're very short and sweet, but a lot of times what we want to do is go through them, and I go through each one individually, but I'm going to kind of blow through because last time it took me a little longer than I thought it would. So I'm just going to name the ones we've been through, and then once we get to the principle 10 tonight, then we'll kind of walk through that one a little bit. Okay, so let's do that first. And that's all I want to do. Hey, actually, let me do one other thing. If you could let me get to, I'm going to put my little channel thing in the comments section. If you're of interest, there's our Rumble channel. I'm up to a few people on that, so that's pretty cool. So if you want to subscribe there, I think that would be a good spot. It just seems all the different videos are in there, and then you can kind of watch at your leisure. So hopefully, and I have an email list. Tribe one dot. So sorry, guys. .com. All right. There's the email list that gets you out. Like if I ever do something, you just subscribe to the email on there. It's free. All the stuff is free. I just like doing it. I'm slightly addicted. And if you don't join us, you should join us on Sunday night at 8:00, where we do 1% Tribe, where we kind of dive deep into different topics. This last week was the shoulder, right? So if you have any shoulder issues, you can go back to that old thing and kind of look up what we talked about. So here is, let's begin by doing the 10th chiropractic principle. So we're going to go through all from 1 to 9 right now. So I'll read it. The major premise, which is what they call universal intelligence. The chiropractic meaning of life, which is the idea that an intelligence works through your matter of your body. The union of this intelligence and matter is that the way the intelligence is able to express itself to the rest of our world is through the matter of who we are. The triune of life is principle 4, and that one is that when you have matter with intelligence to get things done, it needs force. So intelligence, force, and matter. The perfection of the triune of this intelligence, force, and matter is principle number 5. So if the matter is perfect, 100% working perfectly, then the intelligence is able to work at its perfection, which then allows your energy to be perfect. So that's what the perfection of the triune means. The principle of time, which is pretty easy. There is no process that does not require time, which is a holistic principle in and of itself that could be super helpful, actually, like understanding how healing takes time. That's not an exaggeration. It's something that we have to think about when we do that. The amount of intelligence in matter. So that's principle 7. The amount of intelligence in matter is essentially the idea that it's always exactly what it needs to be. If the intelligence calls for that, all the intelligence always 100% of the time. Okay. So, the intelligence always 100% is if the matter can pull off what it needs to, if that makes sense, like a cell or, those kind of things. The function of the intelligence is to create the energy with the matter. Okay. So the idea is to create the action. Okay. I know it gets a little into the weeds philosophically. However, it's super fun to like talk about these. That's why you don't hear a lot of chiropractors talk about them. We all learn them, but I thought it'd be fun. If we're going to do this holistic thing, we should learn these. Okay. This is principle 9, the amount of force created by intelligence. And basically that, whatever the matter and the universal intelligence, the world needs you to produce, it will do it exactly. Okay. So the amount of force, the amount of energy the intelligence needs is always perfect unless it is interfered with. Okay. So principle 10 is this is what it says. The function of force is to unite intelligence and matter. So basically what it's saying is that when you unite let me read that again so that I get it right. The function of force is to unite intelligence and matter. Okay. The function of that energy is to create a connection between those two, right? So your energy, so all the energy of your body, from muscle systems to your biofield to any of those things, your intelligence is helping that go through the matter that you have. Our job is to make sure that our matter is perfect so that intelligence, that energy gets expressed. And we're going to talk about a sweet topic that kind of brings this in right away. So the other thing that, so when I do this talk, I always ask my office manager, Gina, because she gets on she's my social media person that kind of sees what's happening. She kind of like gets on there and sees trends and always asks. So what she came up with this week is a very important one because it's happening all over. Michigan's having it pretty good. We've had in Michigan, a lot of what I call 20 to 30 degree swings. So you can have 20 degrees in one night, go up to, it'd be 25 degrees. Next day it's 55, right? And what that does is it really, really tests the innate intelligence of your body. The innate intelligence of your body can do all that, but it can take its toll. And that's one reason why you start having immune system problems. So right now, a bunch of people are, sick or have the flu or stomach flu, all those things. So one of the topics that I thought she brought up that was fascinating, that's on TikTok and everything. What do you do with a high fever in just in an adult? Let's talk an adult, just to stay in that realm. So the high fever, is an interesting topic, especially when it comes to holistic, a holistic health. A lot of people, they'll go in for this stomach sickness, the flu, whatever. And what they're hoping is they'll go into a doctor's office and urgent care, those kind of things to see if they can have something that could help. One of the problems is, and even my medical side understands that a lot of times it just has to play its part, right? So, why do we have a fever? Because something in us, some bacteria, some type of thing that's foreign is causing you to have an immune system reaction. Is a fever a good thing? It absolutely is. It's like one of the best things. And what happens is like our body is doing the best it can to fight those, right? So to fight when it's there. So that's why it's, unfortunately, we think, oh my God, this fever's so bad, let's have a fever reducer. Well, that fever reducer many times can, like kind of delay you getting better. Have you ever noticed if you don't do anything and you got a really high fever and then the next day you actually feel decent? It's because your immune system was able to respond. The fever is based on increasing that blood flow to the area, creating this heat, trying to get that energy. Remember, if we go back to principle 10, right? The energy or the force, the innate intelligence is creating energy to give to your immune system to get rid of whatever ails you, whether that be the flu, all those kind of things. So the best move always is to let it ride as best you can in a holistic way. Let it ride as best you can to get rid of the fever. Best thing to do is get your immune system as much help as it can. So what I had noticed with this one especially is elderberry was a fantastic option. If somebody's real sick, I said, get some elderberry in you. Because for whatever reason, I noticed that it was helping a great deal of people when they got it. So what you do is you don't attack the fever. You try to make your body as best you can. So like a good example, you wouldn't do a bunch of sugar, right? When you're sick like that, because that makes your immune system kind of go the other way. It doesn't like, sugar and, processed stuff because it's not real, right? If we have fake sugars and, those kind of things, what happens is your body has to fight that. It doesn't know what that is, or it has to break it down. So the best thing is like eat as clean as you can. Of course, what I call ZACEs, zinc, vitamin A, C, E, selenium. Quercetin's a really good one. There's a lot of good, things out there that you can take. A lot of vitamin C would be good, in this situation, but you're not attacking the fever necessarily, which is what the topic is. How do you reduce the fever? You let it ride and you let it do its thing. You are not smarter than the immune system cells in your body, and you try to fight through that and get better. Okay. So that was a good one because it is a thing. And when you're going through that crap and you feel like garbage, I get it. You don't want to actually, have this stuff happen to you, right? Or that fever feels terrible. But once you get through it, your body will start to actually do better. You want to monitor all the time. If you got like a high fever, just have somebody kind of monitoring you just in case. In an adult, no worries. Constantly monitoring kids is a really good idea. Okay, sorry about that. And let's go on to some other topics tonight. Hopefully, oh man, I got 6 people watching. That's awesome. Comment if you'd like. Make sure you get any questions in the comment box. I love that part. So what we're going to do first is go to what the trends were nationally and kind of talk about those before I go into the Dr. Mercola's kind of stuff. He's got some really good articles this week. All right. So we've talked about this several times. It looks like 2025 is going to be all about gut health. I think that trend will continue because that is the new I would say it's going to be in the new science, right? So that we don't know enough about it, and so that is the fascination part. The gut microbiome is going to be such a big player, and I'm so glad I've studied that for a long time now, because 85-ish% of your immune system lies in your gut microbiome. A lot of these neat things are happening where maybe our food, because you have things that really make that gut microbiome struggle, throughout is, we have certain medications that can mess with you. You can have like eating poorly, some seed oil type of stuff, things that really get you going can really mess with your gut microbiome. And so a lot of times the idea of eating clean, understanding how that works, um, gets to a really good point. Now, sometimes the gut microbiome might be bad enough to where you can't just eat clean and have it come. That's where probiotics and like fermented foods, those kind of things start to take hold. And so some people, it's honestly, I'm seeing it all the time. Their gut is so bad that sometimes they'll have to do some of those other things, like a gut detox, those kind of situations. My biggest, stress about this is like it is very, very important to understand how those gut microbiomes kind of do their thing. Okay. So once you start having an understanding of, hey, my gut might be not right, and that helps your immune system kind of check into there, you won't have as many sicknesses. You get over things faster, because if 85% of your entire immune system, which makes sense that it would be in your gut, then when that is working properly, it can help out when you have the flu, when you have all these kind of things. So that's kind of cool. So just remember that gut microbiome is huge. And I have several videos on that. So if you ever want to do those, check it out as well. Okay. So now we're going to the next one. Okay. So this one's an interesting one. Wearable technology boom. So, wearable devices like smartwatches and fitness trackers are trending as essential tools for health monitoring. These gadgets are being praised for tracking everything from sleep patterns to possibly signs of early viral infection. Interesting. Reflecting a broader shift towards tech in the health management. That's pretty cool. One of the things, so a lot of those are really neat. One of the things I know energetically, remember, we all have this 5 foot around us biofield. Okay. Some people call it the chakras. These are things literally I can look up. I'll actually show you. Actually, I'll do that today. All right. I just want to show you, if you don't believe in the biofield, sorry guys, with your, okay. All right. So I'm going to show you this. So literally the biofield. Okay, so the biofield around you, some call it chakras, some kind of aura, those kind of things. It's real. It's always been real. It's a magnificent part of who you are. It's the way we connect without connecting. It's almost like a Wi-Fi signal, essentially. But you get close enough to each other and you have this Wi-Fi. One way I've heard it described is, let's say I am a animal scientist. All I do is like experiment on animals, and I go into a animal activist conference, and I'm one of the keynote presenters, but I don't know that it's an animal loving conference, right? There's that person feels something before they get in the room, right? So those feelings we get, that can be another one of the indicators. But here's one that I want to show you. I think this is so cool. You can use brain waves to fly a drone. Watch this. Sorry, I'll get through this part. All right. So this person is using a drone, using their brain, and it's only 25 seconds. But that, my friends, is crazy. All right. So, yeah, this is another one. I'll show you that one real quick. So all this guy is doing is using a drone or using a brain. He's not in your brain, not anything else. This guy is going to fly. Let me get it to it. So he's hooking this device on the outside of his brain, picking up the brain waves, guys. And he's going to fly a drone. Okay. All right. Sorry. I just want to show you the part where yeah. So he's flying it currently. There it is. So he is using his brain waves. There we go. That's enough of that. He's using his brain waves to literally fly a drone, which should tell you everything. Now, there's a lot of other options. You have EEGs, your heart monitors. They don't put the monitor on your heart. They put it on the outside of your skin. They're picking up the energy of your heart. Okay. So these are all real things. We just have to remember that, as we go. Now, I'm going to warn you about the wearable technology. Wearable technology done on a long time will screw up your biofield. So we just got to watch that. They're not bad, but wearing it constantly, like Dr. Rachel, she had a Fitbit type situation, and we tried to energetically test her with that muscle testing. It was screwing up her biofield so much that she had to make sure she took time off of wearing it just to make sure that it wasn't in the biofield all the time. So just remember that when you're wearing them, it's not all the time. Don't do that, because that can mess up your actual, like, how you're feeling and all those kind of things energy wise. Okay. So that was a pretty good one. That's a good topic, right? All right. Cutting processed foods. My labor of love. That is a huge push right now of trying to get as natural as we can. That's a pretty obvious thing in a chiropractic holistic channel here, but I'm glad that's trending. That'll be good. The processed foods are tough. The processed foods, until we get some ingredients out of that bad boy that we need to, that will be the situation. So, and as we start moving towards those kind of things, the more knowledge, the better, right? So trying to eat as little processed as we possibly can always leads to better health. It always does. You hear about the sweet news? There's a couple fast food restaurants that are going to like beef lard or tallow instead of seed oils. Amazing. So right now I know of 2, Steak and Shake and Buffalo Wild Wings. So remember that and congratulate them and maybe go out to dinner there. I don't know. So that's pretty cool, because beef tallow is so much better for you health-wise than the seed oil stuff. Then the seed oil stuff has been a kick butter. Like, it's health-wise, it's whooped on us for a long, long time. So hopefully we'll start seeing that trend happen. You know what I mean? So, all right. So that one's that one. And I really like this one. I've always loved this topic anyway. It's called mental health micro practices. This is the other thing that's trending online, everywhere else. Short, intentional mental wellness activities like mindful breathing or gratitude exercises are gaining some traction. It makes sense. Kind of what the 1% tribe's all about is little 1% improvements each day. Understanding that. One of my favorites is busy day going, right? Busy day, it's busy. Taking a nice deep breath, it slows you down. That the depth of breath can actually kind of create this reset for you. And so just doing that, like getting into understanding how a deep breath feels, holding a breath. We've done a couple. I should do another breathing one. I'll probably do that one because I'll write him down. Dr. Andrew, he is fantastic. Andrew. He was huge. He was MD. He is a huge. All of his books are fantastic. All of those things. Andrew Weil does this. He does a lot of breathing, probably before it even was, a big trend. So his books, his YouTube videos, fantastic in understanding how these breaths interact. Because once you have those breaths, you start understanding these like little mental health exercises. It really can calm a lot of these things, especially in the busy, crazy world that we're living in right now, where everybody's like, it's crazy and constantly busy all the time. So remember that one. That one's a good one. All right. And then, okay. So now the trend this week, which I really like, gentle movement workouts. So what they're saying is fitness trends are shifting towards low impact exercise, such as Pilates, restorative yoga, and walking. These are being celebrated online for promoting healthy aging and mobility. And sometimes they're even paired nowadays, they're actually paired really well with high intensity workouts for the balance between the two. So what they're meaning on that one that I really like is what they're saying is the high intensity is really effective. Okay. So like if you're in that world where you like high intensity training, it's great. Now we have to understand that if we get into this easier flowing, taking it nice and easy, you're going to be nice to your joints and move them in a nice pattern. You could do what I call, I'll use like you can do CrossFit, right, as a training, but then making sure you add some nice movements in there too, because you want to make sure all those joints are good. One of the biggest things I see in my because I am into weightlifting now, like I'm getting back to the old bodybuilding type weightlifting right now, because I like to change it up. So I love that was my old life. Like I did it all the time, but I understood like once I did that all the time, you start having joint problems. And so the joints can only take so much of that pressure if, like as you go. So what you do is do the stuff you like. If you're really high end, you want to do some high intensity training, like the CrossFit, like any of those different ones. There's tons of them out there, right? But make sure you're walking. Make sure you're doing the enjoyment. Like I love the nature walks. It's almost there in Michigan. Next week it's supposed to be like 65. So I'm hoping a lot of people get outside and walk and get out with nature, do a little walk in the yard, those kind of things. But it doesn't mean you have to give up your other stuff. It just means that will balance you out. So you'd have two different exercise pathways. So it's kind of good. Like why I do this, one reason we do Whole Health Weekly is to see if there's any trends I don't like. And this week it was pretty good. The only one I'd warn about is the wearable technology, just understanding where that comes with the biofield around you could be something to watch. Okay. All right. Very cool. All right. Now I'm going to go into some articles for the last few minutes. Dr. Mercola. Dr. Mercola is my guy that I really like his articles and his website. So if you ever want to, it's a free website. You can get on there and read those. Very, very good, detailed situation. So this was a big one. All right. We're going to go into this. Vitamin K2. Okay. There's K1 and K2. So remember those two. A New Hope for Osteoarthritis Relief by Dr. Mercola. Osteoarthritis results from cartilage deterioration due to genetic, metabolic, or inflammatory factors, causing bone friction, pain, stiffness, bone spur formation that impair joint function. Studies show boosting vitamin K2 intake supports joint health by regulating calcium metabolism, reducing inflammation, boosting cartilage integrity, and activating proteins like this one called GPX4 to protect cartilage cells from damage. Elevated levels of vitamin K dependent proteins like this one called GLA rich protein and matrix GLA protein in osteoarthritic joints suggests their protective role against harmful calcium deposits and their use as diagnostic markers. Insufficient vitamin K impairs protein activation. So that allows the calcium formation to happen. So that's what degenerative arthritis is. So it allows that calcification to happen, the inflammation, and the cartilage damage to happen if it goes unchecked. Increasing vitamin K2 through foods, supplements, and healthy lifestyle changes offers a powerful approach to preserving health joint, reducing inflammation, and slowing osteoarthritis progression. All right, so I'm not going to read the whole article. So there's K1 and K2. K2 is definitely more bone and joint health kind of thing. K1's more your blood. Okay, so just remember that. And then I want to find where you can find K2 in food because that's important. Da-na-na. All right. Okay. Vitamin K2. Oh, there it is. Okay, here's it. Egg yolks. Egg yolks are your number one source of vitamin K2. Makes sense, right? So if anything's going to help cartilage, if anything in the world is going to help cartilage, it's going to be cells from an egg, right? Like guess where all the stem cell research is, right? It's in the cells, like all the young cells, stem cells, right? So that makes sense that K2 could be a huge factor for osteoarthritic changes, which is very, very cool. So something I learned, as we go, like I didn't know that necessarily about K2. And this is a new study that allows that. So hopefully that makes sense. So egg yolks are the best. And then leafy greens are always another huge one. Dark green leafy greens, always a big one. And it says recommended combine vitamin K2 with vitamin D3 and magnesium. And one's called magnesium 3 and 8. If you need any of these, oh, by the way, let me do this real quick. If you need any of these, remember you can scan this QR code and get yourself some vitamin K2, D3, and magnesium 3 and 8 right there. It's called Full Script. It's all the stuff in there is vetted. So no matter which one you pick, it's good, right? So that's what that little online store, it's an app. It works just like Amazon, which is really cool. But there's naturopaths that have vetted, doctors and naturopaths have vetted every supplement that goes in there. So just to let you know, I'll put that one up there. But yeah, so that is K2. So remember that when you're adding it to your situation. I'll probably be carrying it at my office actually very, very soon, just because of that, because that would be nice to have something. Because I'm not a huge chondroitin and glucosamine guy. I've seen people take it. I think it works. It could. It absolutely is one that the studies say it works, but I haven't seen it work as well as I think we could find. I always have thought there's got to be something more, and K2 could be that possibility for us. So there is that one. All right. Ooh. Okay. Let's go after this one. This one's pretty good. Okay. This one's called so who wrote this? Oh no. I got to see it. Who wrote it? Okay, so I think it's Ashley Armstrong. So boost your metabolism and joint health with this underrated meat. Okay, so boost your metabolism and joint health with this underrated meat. Shanks, meat shanks, are a collagen-rich, nutrient-dense cut of meat that provides a more balanced amino acid profile than a traditional steak. Collagen, the most abundant protein in your body, supports skin, joints, bones, and gut health, and shanks are a top dietary source. Cooking shanks low and slow breaks down the collagen into gelatin, making the nutrients more bioavailable and easy to absorb. Glycine, the main amino acid in collagen, helps regulate metabolism, balance muscle meat intake, and counteract inflammatory amino acids. So, traditional diets included more collagen rich cuts like shanks, offering a healthier protein balance compared to the modern steak heavy consumption. So, her article basically goes through how having the meat with the steak and having a good balance between those two when you're cooking it. So a lot of it, the shank is like there's a lot of meat there, or I'm sorry, a lot of bone comparative to a steak, right? So like when you're cooking most steaks, they have boneless, right? So boneless, very easy to take or do, or those kind of things, but you're missing some of the things that make it really good. Okay, so the collagen, those kind of things. So that is a very easy thing to kind of add to your diet. Just get bone in, the steak, and just make sure you're just using the cut. You don't have to eat the fat, right? You don't have to eat the ligament or tendony tough stuff. But by having it in the presence of that, you actually get that. And that's one of the things that our old diet used to have that we don't currently have anymore. So hopefully that was a helpful one. And so I'll do one more article and I'll leave you people alone so you can actually do things this week. So hopefully give me a thumbs up or a heart or something if you had a good time. I know it's a little early. We usually do it about 5:30 or 6:30. So I appreciate anybody that I have 5 people on is awesome, actually. So I think I'll do one more that I saw that I thought was good. And so we're going to go away from, the joint health for right now. How your oral microbiome, ooh, here's a good one. Your oral microbiome influences your risk for dementia. Okay, so here's the story. This is by Dr. Mercola again. So the story is research found that higher levels of harmful bacteria in the mouth are linked to cognitive impairment, while beneficial bacteria support better brain function. Nitric oxide production by beneficial oral bacteria play a crucial role in maintaining blood flow into the brain. Nitrate-rich vegetables help boost the population of these healthy bacteria. Okay, so nitrogen-rich, you got your dark leaf vegetables, your stuff from the farmer's market. It's again where you want to go. People with this, it's called the APOE4 gene, show a distinct oral microbiome composition. Research shows that they have lower levels of the good bacteria and higher amounts of the bad bacteria, which is associated with increased dementia risk. Harmful oral bacteria have the ability to enter the bloodstream, cross the blood-brain barrier, leads to brain inflammation that can lead to cognitive decline. Maintaining good oral health through proper diet and regular brushing and flossing teeth, nose breathing, avoiding antibacterial mouthwash. And that's what we're going to talk about. Practicing. You don't have to do that part. Okay, so we're good there. But understanding what we're doing, getting good brushed and like if instead of just always an antibacterial mouthwash, you don't want to use that much, right? You want to have a good mouthwash, maybe something, but not an antibacterial one. So maybe look into those organic ones. Trying to get some good organic kind of toothpaste, those kind of things are very, very important, because what they're saying, it's just like your gut microbiome. Once there's bad microbiome in your gut, there always will be. It has to be counteracted and balanced by the good ones. So once you have the good ones in there, the good ones have to win over the bad. Okay. So that's a big situation. The same goes with your oral. So you have bad bacteria in there already, and you have good ones. So what you have to do is make sure that the good always wins. And the way you do that is a ton, if you can, and you want to do as many, good eating habits as you can, right? And then also make sure you're not doing like antibacterial mouthwash all the time. Maybe you have to because you have some bad sore throat or whatever. But just remember understanding what you're doing, brushing your teeth a lot, those kind of things. So, but did you see how it leads to very specific stuff? That's crazy that it would do. It would cause, they actually have a thing that leads to dementia. So just remember that. So, have you ever noticed that some people have teeth that go for days and they don't have to worry about it? I have patients in their 80s and they have their normal teeth, and then I have some patients that lose their teeth at 60, 50. And a lot of times it has to do with a good microbiome in your mouth, right? Your oral microbiome. If we take care of that, it'll be really good. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today. If you don't, if you just go back to this Rumble channel, okay? If you ever want to get back on there, this Rumble channel will have all the recordings of this. Wish the Harper Creek girls basketball team a good luck tonight. They're going for a district win, so that would be pretty cool. So I'm excited to see how they do. But other than that, tonight, you guys, hopefully I gave you a little bit of info that'll be helpful. So looking at all those different topics, hopefully you'll find something in there. And I didn't go too fast, but I love doing this, and you guys are great. So I appreciate you all, and have a great night. Thanks.